Good evening, afternoon, night, morning, whenever you find a way to watch and listen to this podcast. It is me, Omar Rashan T. Borja, the Burger Popper, joining you with a very special guest today. I'm so excited just to conduct this interview. I'm joined by a SWAC and Mississippi Valley State legend, Aries Nelson, who was, I think, 2004 SWAC Newcomer of the Year. And I mean, we're going to dive into his career, but the occasion that we're talking, Mississippi Valley State is back in the Chicago Football Classic. And this is kind of I guess tenuous is for lack of a better term. I didn't pull up my thesaurus beforehand, but a tenuous time for HBCU classics. The Circle City Classic has just announced that they're pivoting to high school football, so there's no HBCU ball for the foreseeable future with that one, and so there's really not as many neutral site classics still happening across the country. But the Chicago Football Classic continues on, despite its recent struggles with attendance and everything. And I'm just excited because honestly, these games are amazing for the college football landscape. Like the more special events we have, the better. But enough blabbering from me. Aries Nelson was the first quarterback for Mississippi Valley State to play in a Chicago Football Classic, and the Delta Devils have a proud tradition in that classic. I think they've played 7 times, counting this year, but I have 7 times in my notes. But Aries, thank you for joining me. Really excited for this. How's everything going?
Everything's going great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So my first question before we talk about the Chicago Football Classic in particular, doing some research on this, as you know, you always want to do before doing an interview. You started at Mississippi State. Mississippi State, you got to make sure to slow down, and then you transferred to Mississippi Valley State. So it doesn't take a huge college football expert to know that those are two incredibly different environments.
Yes, sir.
So how was a change of scenery, and how did you adjust to it?
Uh, well, well, when it came to Mississippi Valley, I've been going to Mississippi Valley all my life. You know, they had a high school program called Overbound. So I've been a part of the Valley family since I was seventh grade, personally. But I had family members also that went to Valley. So you know, it was rich in my blood. And also, well, another crazy part is my head coach Willie Totten coached me in high school before he went to Valley. So he coached me my first 2 years, got me acclimated to the quarterback position. So it was a big thing by me leaving home, but also where I was from in Cleveland, Mississippi, we also had a big either you went, you know, to Jackson State, Valley, or Mississippi State, or Ole Miss. So I had a lot of guys that went to Mississippi State, like for Port Charles Womack, played for the Seattle Seahawks. I had Dorsett Davis play for the Denver Broncos, and on the other side, I had Ken Lucas from Ole Miss that played for the Carolina Panthers, Seattle Seahawks. So we had a lot of you know football heritage where I'm from, and by me going to Mississippi State, I also knew if it didn't work out, I could always have somewhere to go, and that what happened when Coach Sherrill decided to retire. I decided to come home, and I went to Valley.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I obviously didn't catch that in my notes about you being coached by Coach Totten, which I have questions about that. But you mentioned Jackie Sherrill, which that wasn't in my notes, so I overlooked that. Jackie Sherrill, of course, like a legendary coach. Like, what was it to play under him for like that 1 year that you had with him?
Coach Sherrill, he put the belief in me. Being a black quarterback coming back out, when we came out, when I came out 2002, you know, people recruit me for other positions, but I only played quarterback my whole life. I never played anything else. So he gave me the opportunity to play on the highest level in the SEC. And my red shirt freshman year, I ain't played. But my next year, he asked me, what I want to do, and I told him I was ready to make some runs at playing. So unfortunately, I didn't get to beat out Kevin Fatt. He was a hell of a quarterback. So what Coach Shell did, he was good at putting his players on the field. So I end up starting on punt team on special teams. So I got a lot of shine on special teams that year. Then at the end of the year, Coach decided that it was time for him to hang it up. So he hung it up and tried to win a job with Coach Chrome, and I couldn't win it. So I didn't feel like it was necessary for me to stay there any longer. So I just transferred home.
Well, that's I really love hearing that, like, as special teams, 'cause I love special teams. I know we're not here to talk about like my measly high school career, but that's where I played for the most part, just special teams. And I just love a quarter, especially like a quarterback, like any player that just finds a place in the field of special teams, like has a soft spot in my heart. But seeing you, a quarterback, get dirty, especially on punt team, it's really fun to hear.
Oh yeah, man. Like I said, it was also made me a lot tougher too, man. Being a quarterback, you didn't get, you practice with the red jerseys on, scrimmages, red jerseys. On the time you used to get hit was during the game. But by me being on special teams, I just go do the quarterback drills, and then when special team time come, go, do my blocking and my tackling drills and things of that nature. So like I said, it just made me tougher as a football player.
Yeah, I like hearing that. I mean, tackling is important because, of course, I mean every quarterback throws an interception. I mean, there's no way around it. But I mean, I'm glad to know that you were in those tackling drills too, just in case, just in case they need you to make that stop by the goal line, on those interception returns.
Yes.
But my next question regards Coach Totten. So I'm really fascinated to hear that you essentially had like a very lengthy relationship with Coach Totten. Like, what was it like to learn from one of Black college football's greatest quarterbacks, and just honestly like HBCU royalty?
Yeah, I know sometimes, we put the label on ourselves, but I think when it comes to Coach Todd, he is one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play, no matter what color, you know what I'm saying? The things that he did at the time that he was playing, it was, was no one else was doing it. And when he came out, it's unfortunate that it was at the time that, that even Warren Moon had to go to the Canadian League. It wasn't a time where they didn't have that much ability, much trust in a black quarterback's ability. But looking back on it now, if Coach Todd would have came out, in today's game, he'd probably be, a top pick. Something like Steve McNair was, when it came to the accolades and making the plays. So I learned a lot from him. I learned the quarterback position from him. He taught me ninth, 10th grade. He was the foundation of what I was, did. If he would have stayed, we probably would have had two championships. But I knew it was something that he needed to do to, like I said, put on his bucket list. He came and also showed me how to lead, showed me how to read defense, and showed me how to do a lot of things. And even to this day, we have a relationship. He coaches at Fort Valley State, so whenever he comes here, I stay here in Memphis. Whenever he come Lane College or something, he call me and I go check him out. So then he just did a book, by me being. He told me I was his best player, but I take that with a grain of salt because he had a lot of good players. But I probably he asked me to for excerpt in his book, so I feel honored for that also.
Well, I admire your humility because I would take a comment like that and run with it, honestly. And just like, I wouldn't outwardly brag, but I would just keep that. I wouldn't second guess that one bit. But what's the book called? Like, I want to look into that
I'm
now.
not. I don't even know the name of the book yet, but I just like a month ago, 2 months ago, sent my part. What what's gonna be put in the book. So hopefully, in not too long, soon as possible, probably in the near future, we will be getting a book. So I'm not sure, but I know it probably has something to do with satellite. His name, I could tell you that.
One of the greatest nicknames of all time. I mean, I love it. And you mentioned too, like the numbers that he put up, like not just Jerry Rice, because a lot of people just like when they when they look at what Jerry Rice did, they ignore the man who threw him the ball. But like
Exactly.
Willie Totten's stats were just insane, and it's like even in this day and age, like they stack up like even better. I mean, maybe not touchdown wise, but it's on par with like 2019 Joe Burrow for those watching and listening that like may not be aware of Willie Totten's stats in I think 84 and 85, like
Yeah,
just in.
Joe Burrow had how many touchdowns?
He had 60.
Yeah, Tom had that about that many. Yeah, I used to beat people by 70 points, 90 score, 90 points. I'm talking about video game stats.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's just insane. So like, I mean, everyone watching and listening, like just find your way to just looking at those old stats with Willie Totten, those old scores, like they will blow your mind. But moving past just talking about your Mississippi Valley State career as a whole and your relationship with Coach Totten, Coach Sherrill. So mainly like with the Chicago Football Classic, like you were the quarterback of the first Mississippi Valley State team to play in the Chicago Football Classic. Like what was that experience like, and like how much like you're essentially a Mississippi lifer for if it's safe to use that term. Like like how much did it mean to like represent like your local community, like the town of Itabena. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Should
It'll be,
research that. It have been like how much did it mean to represent that community on such a huge stage?
it was big because, like I said, this was my second opportunity of what I want, what I love to do. Then what made it more, you know, exciting for me is I'm born from Chicago, North Side, Howard Street. So my family also that never got to see me play at all, got to see me play those 2 years. My last 2 years, we played 2 years up there, and it was exciting, man. Especially that first year by us just building the team to what we built it to, and we knew that we was gonna be pretty good that year. And that game right there just showed, that we was gonna be a team to be reckoned with for the next couple of years, and we were.
Yeah, absolutely. Like looking at the team from the time that you played, like compared to how it is now, and that's not to
Yeah.
cast stones, but like at the current team, like I like deep inside, like I love the underdog, and I know Mississippi Valley State has every challenge like against it compared to all the programs in the SWAC. And so just seeing what you guys were able to do with what you guys had to work with, it truly amazes me, and like I'm just like awe inspired, honestly. Like it doesn't matter if you guys didn't go to the SWAC title, like 6-5 might as well be a banner season, like
But we,
Valley.
Well, yeah, we was 6-5, man, but we was like 4 plays or 2 plays, bro, for me having two sweat championships on my finger. But things happen for a reason, man. But those days we thought we was, building something to, that'll set us, up there with the likes of Alcorn or, even Grambling Jackson. We ain't talking about winning it every year, but being relevant. You know what I'm saying? That's what we played for. We played for like you said, the V and the S on the front, man. We played for each other, and going to a black college, bro. You know, that's the difference, bro. Now going to a white college, man, you ain't got to really worry about anything. You know what I'm saying? Like you really more, you know, players or more individual players, you know what I'm saying? But when you get to the swag and to the black college, man, you it's more family oriented. You have to lean on your brother, man, to survive or get through your 4 years or even get through the season, bro. You know what I'm saying? So like that was the main difference I could say from a black college and a white college. But the Chicago Classic though, man, I'm glad it's so much um, black football heritage in Chicago, man. You know what I'm saying? When they stopped it last year or so, I was very upset because, like I said, that's a pipeline for us. Also, we have a big alumni standing in Chicago, so that when we go home, like a lot of those alumni don't get to see us until like homecoming, if they get to see us then. So if you could go up there and just show them, get them a good show, man, and show them why they could be proud of wearing that green and white, man. That mean a lot to me.
Yeah, that like I think that captures the essence of college football, honestly, just like being a fan in general, like being an alumni, being a fan, like, just representing your school, being proud of your school, winning a trophy of any type. I mean, whether it be at the end of the season or during the season. I know that the NBA has kind of made those in-season trophies cool, which, black college football was way ahead of the NBA's lead with like,
Mhm.
with making events in the season. But I think events like the Chicago Football Classic are just so great. And I'm surprised to hear really that Mississippi Valley State has like such a huge community in Chicago. I would have never guessed it, honestly.
Oh yes, sir. You got to, it's just history now. We go all the way back to before me and you was born. How most of the people in Chicago are from the South, so you got roots. They move and go up there get their education, but they would like the Southern experience with black colleges. So mostly half of the students that come to the schools down here be from up north. You know what I'm saying? So don't be surprised, brother.
Okay, no, that's good to know, and I think that's something that just I think shows how necessary these games were like back in the day compared to like now, where
Hmm.
everything's about money. Excuse me,
Yeah.
everything's about money. Obviously nowadays, where if a team can just collect a bag rather than give up a home game, like they'll do it in a heartbeat. So I think it's just amazing to hear like the roots like just stretch back like decades, like upon decades. Like, and I figured it was like rooted in like the Great Migration. I figured with
Yes,
Mississippi Valley
sir.
State it was, but I couldn't confirm.
Yes, sir. That's how like even you are you are a Chicago native, right?
No, I'm just a writer who loves college football.
Where you from? Where are you originally from?
Well, I'm from, let's see, I was born in Massachusetts. Honestly, well, my mom's an immigrant, so my
Okay,
mom's an
I got you.
immigrant,
I got
so
you. I'll say
yeah.
so. You different, but yeah. So I'm just that's how it is, man. The northern states, man. Most of the people up there, most of their roots are from the south. They were just able to get away from all the crap that was going on back in the day, man. So with most of us take vacations, bro, from the south, we either going to Chicago somewhere. If they up there taking vacation, they coming down this way. So
Okay.
yes,
That
sir.
makes that makes a lot more sense, really. So I think going on, like the last question I had, really just going back to your playing career. I was doing research, found an old picture of you playing in the Magnolia Gridiron Classic, the All Star
Yeah.
game. Um, yeah, I know it's on the smile. I don't have it pulled up, honestly, so I can't really share it on the screen. But for me, as like I've loved college football since I was little, and part of like what kind of like grew that fascination with it was just seeing the all-star games and seeing like the different schools, like all the helmets I had never seen before and just wanted to like know what they were. And so it's like nowadays with everything with the draft and opt-outs and everything, like I'm not blaming the players, but being in all-star games, it's kind of like lost that magic. But that wasn't the case when you played in the Gridiron Classic, in the Magnolia Gridiron Classic in 2006, and especially nowadays where there's not too many HBCU quarterbacks getting to play in all-star games other than the Legacy Bowl. Like, what was that experience like? I mean, looking back at that roster was, had amazing talent. I saw Pierre
Yes, sir.
Thomas for the Saints,
Yes, sir.
Saints Super Bowl winner playing in that game. Like, what
Tyler
was that experience
Threadgill,
like?
the one in the picture with me, the guy Tyler Threadgill, he played for Kansas City Chiefs. We had I forgot his first name, but he went to University of Memphis. He played for the Browns. So yeah, we had some talent. It was for me, man. It just showing that you belong, man. With those type of guys, because it was D1 Double A against D1, so we played against the top, the top notch schools. So man, I went out there and did my thing, So, that's all it's about to me. When it comes to the All Star games, is who you said this guy's this and this guy's that. It's time for me to show you who I am. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole mindset of it's not a disrespectful thing. It's a me come show you who I am, an introduction thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it was then, man. But it's good, man, because like I said, most of those cats at them big schools, their parents played in the SWAC or some most of their people in their family go to HBCU. So it just be conversations had like, what's the difference? So, but other than that, man, it's just football, bro.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, that makes a lot of sense too. Like, I think something that like changed my perspective of, like all-star games in general, or just like that like next level, because of course it's a job interview essentially. Is someone just said that every pro football game at any level is an all-star game, and it's like that whole introduction, like that, it makes like that it kind of just like adds to that thought that ever since I heard that. Did you feel any pressure to like represent Mississippi Valley State on that stage, or was it just kind of just it
It was
is what
just
it is?
normal. Like it just what I do. It wasn't no pressure. The pressure was failing, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, it's just a normal day at the office. Like I said, it's football. Some people put emphasis on different things of nature, but when it's come to football, it's all the same to me. I treat it the same way. When you try to switch things up for certain things, that's when things don't go right. You know, so I try to keep the same even keel for any type of game. If it's a rivalry game, if it's a scrimmage game, any game. I try to be the one that control the narrative.
Okay, wow, that makes sense. I wasn't expecting that really,
Yeah.
but I mean it helps a lot. I mean, yeah, definitely. I guess just in general too.
Yeah,
Uh,
especially being a quarterback, you got to be cool head, smooth, collected. 'Cause, shit, if my running back or my lineman looking at me, bug eyed, I can't be looking at them bug eyed. Somebody got to calm down the situation. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think the one last question I have. So obviously, like Mississippi Valley State doesn't have the Bayou Classic, right? They don't got the Florida Classic like Florida A&M or Bethune-Cookman has, right? So the Chicago football class is just this rich tradition. They have playing 7 times. Um, if if the Chicago Football Classic were to go away permanently, how devastating would that be for Mississippi Valley State?
I don't think it'll be devastating for just Mississippi Valley State. It'll be devastating for Chicago. It'll be devastating for the other schools because the classic games are showcase stage games for black college football. You know what I'm saying? Like the classic game used to be, you know, pretty supposed to be good matchups from either a classic game is a rivalry game or it's a game from interconference game. So like I said, it's all about who's the biggest black college in football. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that, the classics. But like you said, when it all comes to money, man. If we can't push these games, if we can't market these games, if we can't push our players, we can't market our players, man, it go die. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially for schools like us, we are not like Jackson State. Jackson State, yeah, they could play 4, 5 classes a year. Grambling State, you know what I'm saying, to that nature, So when it comes to a school like Mississippi Valley State in these type of atmosphere, we got to get in where we fit in. So I'm saying, like, if you got a big market like a Chicago trying to help push your agenda at your university, I would think that it would make good sense to try to keep that going for your university. So that's my take on it. But I don't have no horse in the race. I'm just alumni and a fan now. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I see, man. But it's so much going on, man. We just forget the main thing. And the main thing is just, man, give people what they want, uh, and everything else will fall in place.
Yeah, I think that sentiment was like I think that sentiment was shared by the Florida A&M coach, either the Florida A&M or the South Carolina State head coach at the press conference for the Orange Blossom Classic, just about how these games honestly just like need to survive for all the reasons that you said. And so I think for me as a fan that's removed, that enjoys the pageantry of it, like I would be, I mean, I would be devastated, but again, like I'm just a writer, podcaster on the side, so like
I'm gonna give you some of this one too, man. it killed it hurt Memphis, man. The Jackson State Tennessee State game, that was one of the biggest grossest games like in the country when it comes to black college football, man. And it hurt our economy so bad, man, because we got two schools in the now that really don't have the fan base in the area. But now Nashville picked that game up. Now they finna kill with the game because they got the Tennessee Titans Stadium. They got the space and everything. So man, it just we need to just sit back and just sit at the table and see what's most monetary efficient for everyone involved, man. Then everything will be okay when it comes to our black culture. We just got to compensate the people that need to be compensated the right way, bro. And everything else will fall in place. Because all this is falling, like you say, falling apart because of money. And we compensate the people that we're supposed to compensate because ain't no way that these classes that we have and making the money that they're making and we ending them because of money. I don't understand it.
I was surprised to hear you mention the Southern Heritage Classic in Memphis because that's a great example that slipped my mind. I I'll be honest, I wasn't aware that you lived in Memphis when I messaged you.
Yeah.
So this wasn't part of the plan, but like I mean it's a great point too where I mean Jackson State and Tennessee State saw something that was like more beneficial from a financial perspective and they
Right.
pursued it. Like you can't blame them, man. I love the Southern Heritage Classic, but it's just not what it was
Not.
really.
It's not the same pop on the city. It's not like when Jackson State and Tennessee State was playing, and this is no disrespect to none of the schools because I have a Cleveland native that's the head coach for Alcorn State. So this is no knock on none of the schools. It's just common sense, financially feasible. These people been doing this for all these years, and they left because they weren't getting compensated. All these years the Southern Heritage Classic was going on. All these millions and millions of dollars be making that weekend, and Jackson State and Tennessee State backed out because of compensation. That shouldn't be the problem. I said they backed out because they need a bigger venue or some nature like that, but it shouldn't be because of money because they was making hands over fists of money every time that game was played.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, now I guess they're playing this year. It's a home and home at Nissan Stadium, at the Titan Stadium, and
Man, they
that
finna
that's
kill. They finna kill, man.
yeah. I'm excited for that crowd. So I did have one more question. I forgot to. I guess I forgot to ask it, so I'm asking it out of order. It's better late than never. So with the 2006 game, just looking at the results and everything, like um, Mississippi Valley State had lost two prior Chicago Football Classics to that one. Like, what was it like to finally, just break into the win column, get revenge on UAPB in that game?
Well, see, I wanted revenge on UAPB anyway because I played them. My first game at the Valley, man, was against UAPB. I was the fourth quarterback put in the game, man, and they put it on us that game. But I wanted them bad, so bad. By us playing in the Chicago Football Classic, I was like, man. Then we was gonna be the first game in the renovated Soldier Field, so it was big on big because I wanted them. We playing in Chicago, and I'm a Chicago Bears fan. So, and we playing at the Soldier Field. So then, like I said, we had all my guys back healthy, and we had just got a new transfer, Richard Birch, one of the best left tackles that was in D1, but he ended up coming down. His family, mom and dad went to Valley, so that was a big thing for us. So we felt like we would have a hell of a team, but we were just waiting on. It didn't even matter if we played at the park. We were waiting on UAPB because they put it on us before at home the year before.
I love hearing like the tone of your voice. Like I can like kind of see
Oh
like the
yeah,
animosity in
oh
your eyes. Like
yeah,
it doesn't go away. It
oh
doesn't go
good.
away. I think it's funny too because like I feel the same thing too. Like I mean I lived in El Paso like just with the army like a couple years ago, and I heard some of the local kids from my church just talking about a high school that I played against, our crosstown rival, and I was like I got hot, and I'm like, man, like those guys are soft.
Yeah.
You guys better have your way with them because those guys are soft. Like you know, like oh, those guys, like yeah. So it's just funny to hear that like almost 2 decades later,
You know,
that just like doesn't
to
die.
pet up the juices, man. You know, it's all love, but they know, when we get down and scrap it up, man, when we was scrapping them up, I'm just teaching and coaching it now. But when we was scrapping it up, man, it was made the best man win. And my job is to beat you more than you beat me.
Yeah, that's well said too. I was getting hot too, just like talking about those guys. So it's just funny, but that's really all I had like question wise. Aries, thank you so much for just joining and just like being so gracious with your time and just the wealth of knowledge you provided. Do you have anything final to say before we sign off?
Oh, no, sir, man. I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking your time, and thank you everyone for listening and watching. Just stay tuned for more off-season stuff. Probably think about just slowing down a bit before the season starts up again. And until next time, everyone, peace, love, and soul in the Burger Popper.
Yes, sir.